Hi, I'm Ashura, and today we're going to talk ethereal lore. But more specifically, I'm going to talk about the Ethereum, the ruling class of Ethereals. And the reason I'm starting with the Ethereum is because in order to understand ethereal lore, we have to first go back to the Ethereum. Pretty much everything to do with the Ethereals, as we've seen them in WoW, is because of the Ethereum and their actions. There's some stuff that goes into really specific detail about this that I want to share with you, but just to give you like a quick idea to start. So the Ethereum was the ruling class of Ethereals back on their homeworld of Koresh, and they were led by a council of Nexus Princes, and above that, a Nexus King. When the Void Lord Dimensius came to Koresh to devour it, the Ethereum Council made it their mission to hunt him down and destroy him once and for all, no matter the cost. But the various members of this council disagreed on how exactly to do that, to the point that the council splintered and various Nexus princes decided to leave and form their own factions. And pretty much all of the Ethereals that we've interacted with throughout WoW have actually been part of these Ethereum offshoot factions. From the Consortium in Nagrand to the Protectorate in Netherstorm and beyond that. There's an NPC, Commander Emir, who's the leader of the Protectorate, and he has very detailed dialogue that goes into the events with Koresh and this history that I just described, so I'm actually going to take you through his dialogue real quickly. What do you know about Ethereals, fleshling? You undoubtedly view us all in the same light, oblivious to the conflicts and the struggles between the differing factions. Perhaps it is time for an introduction. I am Commander Emir of the Protectorate, also your only hope of resolving the infestation of both Void Creature and Ethereum in this area. What are Ethereum? The Ethereum were the ruling class of Ethereal on my homeworld of Koresh. Tragically, we were forced to evacuate Koresh shortly before the Void Lord, Dimensius, unleashed his Void armies upon the world and utterly decimated all that stood in his way. For this act, the Ethereum vowed vengeance. They've been tracking Dimensius ever since. The Protectorate, however, were not a reaction to Dimensius. We were a reaction to Ethereum. I don't understand. What do you mean, Emir? The Ethereum have grown dark, twisted. Vengeance has become their only recourse, and any that would stand in their way or not join their cause are considered enemies. Many saw that the Ethereum were plummeting into madness and left. Several of the Nexus princes of the Ethereum Council abandoned the Ethereum to form other groups and factions with different goals. The Consortium are one such example of an offshoot group. The Protectorate, another. So what is your purpose? We feel that the Ethereum are as great a threat to our existence as Dimensius. Both must be stopped. There's also an Ask Creative Development question that goes into a little bit more detail about the Ethereals and Koresh that I also want to read out because it gives us a little bit of additional information that we didn't get from Emir. And it says, Koresh was an arid planet, home to a thriving ecosystem and several sentient species before the arrival of Dimensius the All-Devouring. How the Void Lord found Koresh is still hotly debated among the surviving Ethereals, but the effects of his coming were unmistakable. He opened countless gateways into the void and the twisting nether around the planet, bathing Koresh in arcane and dark energies. Using every scrap of its advanced technology, one of the mortal races hastily attempted to construct magical barriers around its cities, but it was only partially successful. Although the dark energies were blocked, the unimpeded flood of arcane energy tore away the mortals' corporeal shells and infused their souls with enough energy so that they could subsist without a body, barely. Members of this race, now called Ethereals, took to binding themselves with enchanted strips of cloth to provide their souls with enough structure to live. This altered state proved to be a blessing in disguise, as their enhanced minds and magical abilities allowed the Ethereals to fight Dimensius and his limited forces to a standstill. Over the years, however, Dimensius eventually grew powerful enough to summon armies of fellow void creatures, forcing the Ethereals to flee into the twisting nether. We learned in the Dimensius quests, just off to my left, that these events on Koresh happened just 1,000 years ago, but the Ethereals have come and gone between hundreds of worlds since then. So the Ethereum show up 3 times in WoW. Once in Netherstorm Quests here, and this is where we actually get to beat the Nexus King, Salhadar, the ruler of Koresh. Once in Wrath of the Lich King, in a small series of quests in the Moonrest Gardens in Dragonblight, and once in the Aluneth / Light's Wrath acquisition quest chains in Legion. I think they also have a direct connection to the Shadow Guard, who show up on Argus at the tail end of Legion. And the reason I think that is because one of the leaders of the Shadow Guard has the title Ethereum Lord. Granted, that's not really any different from any of the other Nexus princes who broke off from the Ethereum Council to form their own factions, but more than that, what makes me think that they're directly connected is that the Shadow Guard has the same goal as the Ethereum. Not to hunt Dimensius, but to, and you'll learn this in the quests, quote, become a void, to basically take and harness the powers of the void for themselves, to become void creatures or wield void for whatever end. It's something we never really learn. And we'll learn a little bit more about this in the quests, but chronologically speaking, it's interesting to me that the Ethereum show up at the beginning of Legion, get subverted by the player character, and then the Shadow Guard show up a few patches later. Makes me wonder if they're a reformed Ethereum, if they're just another offshoot faction of the Ethereum that basically took over after the Ethereum's many failed attempts. But there's not a whole lot to go off there. This is entirely just speculation. I have covered the Argus stuff with the Shadow Guard in one of my Eridath videos, so if you're interested in checking that out, I'll put that in the cards. But otherwise, I want to take you on a story playthrough of the other times the Ethereum show up in-game, starting with the Netherstorm quests, and then going to the Aluneth acquisition quest in Legion, just to get a closer look at some of the Ethereum lore and learn more about them. So, let's get to it. Directly south of here, you'll find the Ethereum staging grounds. The Ethereum are there, preparing for something, perhaps an assault on Ultras. We can't take any chances, though, Paladin. Break through their perimeter defenses and take out their training facility. Once you've destroyed their soldiers and Captain Zovax, locate Ethereum Transponder Zeta and use it to establish contact with me to get your next set of orders. We must gather whatever data that they've stored in this area. Look around, you fleshling. Very close to this transponder should be an Ethereum data cell. Locate that data cell, open it, and retrieve the contents. Bring it back to this transponder at once. Have you recovered the data cell? You hold the data cell out so Amir can read the plans. Nothing. Damn them. They're clever, but not as clever as Amir. What I'm about to ask you to do is quite dangerous. I'll understand if you don't want to continue, fleshling. They're using relays to transfer information around the staging grounds. There's only one way for you to see these relays and extract the information they hold. Unfortunately, doing so may cause you irreparable brain damage. If you're still interested, you'll need to slay Ethereum here at the staging grounds and take their essences. Once you have an essence, drink it down. It will temporarily allow you to see an Ethereum relay, giving you enough time to destroy a relay and extract its information. Have you recovered the relay data? The Protectorate's reason for existence is now fully realized. The Ethereum are not here to hunt Dimensius, they're here to become void. They are manipulating the void energy at this mana forge to bond their own energy into a creature known as a Nexus Stalker. They're undoubtedly using a proto-accelerator to complete the transformation. We must destroy the machinery that is making these Nexus Stalker aberrations possible. To strike at their proto-accelerator would be futile, as it is an ethereal creation. We must instead destroy the mana forge energy tube that they are using as a conduit. I have all that I need to create a device to overload the conduit save for one item. I need a wrapping from an Archon or Overlord that might be transforming soon in order to calibrate the device. I don't think we ever really know why they want to become void. I was wondering in part if it was sort of like the same thing that Illyria did, right? Where she wanted to learn about the void in order to defeat it. Like, it makes sense that if the Ethereum's mission has been to hunt down and kill Dimensius, that maybe they're trying to tap into the void in order to do that. But I don't really know. We do sort of learn on Argus, at least from the Shadow Guard, from what Locust Walker says, is that all those Ethereals gave in to the call of the void, because the only person we know, let alone Ethereal, who's ever been able to master the void without succumbing to it has been Locust Walker. But I guess what I mean to say is I wouldn't be entirely surprised if these guys in hunting Dimensius or something had also fallen prey, like the Shadow Guard on Argus, to the void's call, and this is sort of what ended up happening. Have you recovered the wrapping? Excellent. Now to calibrate the device. I'm sending one of my demolitionists out to place the disruption device. Just make sure no harm comes to him as he's placing the disruptor. Keep him protected. He will not fight back if enemies attack him, as he is only a holographic image, but the image can be destroyed. Return to me once the job is done. Let's do this. Just keep me covered and I'll deliver the package. I need to find a new line of work. By the second son of Koresh, look at this place. I can only imagine what Salhadar is planning. Come on, let's keep going. Salhadar is actually the Nexus King, who would be the ruler of the Ethereum and, I assume, original ruler of Koresh, at least at the time that Dimensius did his thing. With this much void waste and runoff, a toxic void horror can't be too far behind. Done! Back up! Back up! Looks like my work here is done. Report back to the hollow image of Emir over at the transponder. Thanks to you, their plans are in ruin. Now only one thing remains. Salhadar. I have in my possession another disruptor, one capable of destroying the 3 conduits that surround Salhadar. Once the conduits are destroyed, Salhadar's protective force fields will be down. For this act, he will strike at you with a ferocity you've never before witnessed. If you are willing to rid the world of Salhadar, I will give you the disruptor. Is he really dead? Destroyed? It has been 1,000 years, maybe more, since Salhadar began his crusade to exterminate all that would stand in his way. Can hardly believe that this is the last we'll see of him. You've done all of us a great service, and for that you will be rewarded. But as luck would have it, that's not the last time we ever see the Ethereum. After you kill Salhadar in TBC, another Nexus Prince takes leadership of the Ethereum, and we will see him in the Aluneth acquisition quests. So I'm gonna hop into that. Aluneth. A powerful and dangerous weapon. If tales are to be believed, Aluneth is actually the name of a very old and very powerful arcane entity, somehow bound to a staff through ancient magic. When Egwin relinquished Aluneth many years ago, it was entrusted to Kirin Tor, who, fearing its unbridled power, handed it to the Blue Dragonflight to secure away in secret. Only they would know exactly where it was taken. The Dragon Gaelic may be our best chance. He now resides on the Council of Six.
Taming Aluneth will be no easy task.
You don't sound so good.
Take these scrolls. Egwin used them when she bound Aluneth to her will. Perhaps you can do the same. Indecipherable scrawlings cover every inch of the parchment, many glowing faintly with arcane energy.
You don't sound so... Greetings.
So you seek Aluneth. A dangerous weapon, to be sure. Long ago, the Kirin Tor entrusted the Blue Dragonflight with its safekeeping. It was locked away in the only place that could contain its rampant power, the Nexus Vault. I've not been there in some time, however. After the Blue Dragonflight was dissolved, the Nexus was all but abandoned. There's no knowing whether the Nexus Vault is still intact or what may be waiting in the Nexus itself.
Together we will defend our world.
If you seek the Nexus, be wary. There are strange happenings in Caldara, and it would be best to understand them before proceeding. During my last visit to Dragonblight, I sensed unusual energies from the Azure Dragon Shrine. Since this place was integral to Malygos's plans during the Nexus War, whatever is there may explain the current state of the Nexus. Here, take this image crystal. I must remain in Dalaran on Kirin Tor business, so we will speak through it. Good luck.
Remember your duty to Azeroth. This portal is very similar to ones used by the Ethereals in Outland. Could they be the threat? What did Malygos promise them? This weapon has been infused with dark energies from the twisting nether. Whoever wielded it must be seeking to harness void energy. But for what purpose?
I don't have a target.
This device appears to draw upon the void energy released when Malygos forced Azeroth's ley lines into the twisting nether. The design looks very familiar. Yet more evidence of ethereal technology. This may be an unfortunate turn.
This appears...
There's only one way to find out who's really behind this.
This appears to be a communication device commonly utilized by the Ethereals. Perhaps it could be the key to finding out who is behind the happenings of the Dragon Shrine. The device still hums with power. It must have been abandoned not long ago. The nearby switch appears to activate it.
Who dares to... What have we here? Another intruder, come to claim the treasures of the Nexus Vault. You are too late. Even now, the powers within the vault serve to widen the breach into the twisting nether. With this power, the Ethereum will become unstoppable. We will become void!
Years later, and somehow nothing has changed. Anywho, that was Nexus Prince Balal, who takes over after Salhadar gets killed by us in TBC. So, the Ethereum has taken the Nexus. And yet that seems the least of our worries. Their plan to widen the breach into the Twisting Nether poses a threat to all of Azeroth. It seems fate has set you on this path for a reason. Not only must you recover the weapon you seek, but you must put a stop to the Ethereum as well. I regret that I cannot assist you more directly, but I will guide you as I can. You should travel at once to Caldara and Borean Tundra. There, I would recommend you scout out a few key locations and report back to me. I know the area well and should be able to tell you how to proceed. Make haste.
Whatever the Ethereals are up to is generating an incredible amount of void energy. They must be using Malygos' surge needles. Fly over to one, and let's take a closer look. The Ethereum have altered the surge needles. They are tapping into void energy caused by the rift. Their power must also be feeding the shield around the Nexus. Let us take a look at the Foundation. The vault must be weakened. The energy from your weapon is breaking its way free. This may work to our advantage.
It seems that the Ethereum has gleaned how to use Malygos' surge needles to bore deeper into the twisting nether. I believe we might be able to use these devices against them. The energy from Aluneth lashes out from within the weakened Nexus Vault. We may be able to use this raw chaotic energy to our advantage. If we can harness this energy and feed it into the surge needles, it should cause a rather destructive reaction. I see you are able to harness the energies of Aluneth. It has been a long time since there was a mage that could control it. Now, are you prepared to unleash it? You have the power you need to destroy the surge needles. At the location of the breaches where the surge needles pierce the ground, there will be a large concentration of void energy. Focus the power of Aluneth into these points. The reaction should cause an overload, destroying the surge needle above. You must act quickly. The Ethereum won't sit idly by as you lay waste to their machinations. There's Nexus Stalkers here too. Wait. So I was gonna say that to some extent it seems like the Ethereum is successful in making themselves, quote, void. And it all started with the Nexus Stalkers, and I guess they pop up here again, which I didn't even expect. But of the Ethereals on Argus, you start seeing like these void Ethereal models, and the Ethereum Lord Saprish has like a void model. Locust Walker, of course, perhaps the most obvious example, but also Nexus-Princess Ky'veza, who's a boss in Narrowbar Palace. But I don't want to get into her quite yet. I want to talk about her more after we've gone through these quests, because we need to see the end in order to get to my speculation.
The shadow is lifted. What little mind is this I sense that has freed my consciousness from the Ethereal's trap?
Azurgos! He must have returned to the Nexus to secure the vault. Malygos always trusted him to watch over the magical artifacts in the care of the flight. I am afraid I must ask another favor of you.
The Nexus Vault lies deep beneath the main spire. You will find its entrance in the lowest chamber of the spire's base.
If
the volatile energies within the Nexus seem to be interfering with the image crystal. I fear you may be on your own from here. Good luck.
If the Ethereum managed to capture Azurgos, then they are more powerful than I imagined. We have not always seen eye to eye, Azurgos and I, but he is still my kin. Since you seek to put an end to the Ethereals and claim Aluneth, I ask that you also free my brother from their grip. With the surge needles destroyed, the shield has dissipated. The Nexus awaits.
So, the lock on the Nexus has been broken, and by a common adventurer, no less. Will wonders never cease? If you've come to engage me in battle in hopes of obtaining some spurious trinket, I'm afraid you're too late. The Ethereum have taken the bite out of this old dragon, and I fear they have robbed me of anything you would deem useful. If it's looting you desire, as your kind so often does, then I suggest taking the fight to them.
Ah, you seem quite capable, mage. With their magics gone, I feel my strength returning.
I assume you come seeking the Nexus Vault. Why else would anyone return to this place? Unfortunately, access to the vault is proving difficult. If you help me access the librarium, I will find a way through. We must not let the Ethereum obtain the artifacts it holds. But first, I think I'll slip into a more comfortable form. These halls were never quite spacious enough for my tastes.
Shall we? We're here! Now let me see if I can find a way into the vault. As I suspected, the entrance to the vault was broken off when Malygos breached the Twisting Nether during the Nexus Wars. I feel the powers it holds resonating through the Nexus. There must be another way to reach the vault. Aha! That's... Wait a moment. The energy from the vault is surging. Brace yourself! We're here! Now, let me see if I can find a... That was too close. If the weapon goes unchecked much longer, it will bring this whole place down around us. Quickly, we must head to the rift. It's the only way. Wait, didn't there used to be a bridge here?
Fools! You may have destroyed the Surge Needles, but you are too late to stop us! The power of Aluneth will rip open the breach!
Oh, great. More Ethereals. It looks like they're channeling the energy from the vault into the breach. This is not good. Come! Time to show these Ethereals that I still have a bit of fight left in me. I will bring whatever power I have to bear against the Nexus Prince. But in my weakened state, it falls upon you to finish this threat. I hope you are prepared.
You are too late, interlopers. Nothing can stop me now. I have become void!
You more than a...
The Ethereum will rise again!
Or rather, I should say that he's like, I guess, the only ethereal that ostensibly becomes like a void being?
What? The void cannot be defeated! No!
The others just become like void ethereals.
So much for the all-powerful void! You know you're not a bad ally. Pity you're not a dragon. I can open a portal to the vault, but I'll have to remain on this side to keep it open. The way is clear. Hurry, little one. I can't keep this open for long. You made it, but to leave this place with the weapon, you must first gain control of it.
No mere mortal can grasp the wisdom of Aluneth. I will not succumb to your paltry magics! I am infinite. I will not be contained! You are not as powerful as she who came before. You cannot succeed! You fancy yourself as worthy to wield me as the previous guardian? You are but a child to me. You foolishly think you can control this power. So be it. Come, child. Let us wreak havoc upon your...
Well done. The energies from the vault seem to be stabilizing. Now hurry back, before the portal closes and you're locked inside. I am impressed. Never have I seen a mage capable of controlling Aluneth. The Ethereals have been routed, and you have the weapon you came for. Your business here is finished. Mine, on the other hand, has just begun. I thank you for freeing me. You have given me the greatest gift of all. That of time. I will use that time to secure the Nexus. It must never again fall into the wrong hands. This portal will take you back to Kalagos. Please, give him my regards.
This world is full of wonder.
You have my gratitude for saving Ashgos. I can rest easy knowing that the Nexus is under his care. As for you, I can see you're full of surprises. Never in my time have I seen a mage who can control the chaotic energies of Aluneth. Thank you for what you've done for me and my kind today. You are truly the hero we need to face the Legion.
Fly true.
And that's pretty much every single time we've seen the Ethereum as an organization in-game so far. It's interesting to me that we don't really know why they wanted to harness the Void. I was looking back at the dungeon journal for the Seat of the Triumvirate, and it does say that Viceroy Nazar is obsessed with harnessing the power of the Void to serve his own ambitions, and Amir told us at the end of this quest, after we killed Saladar, that Saladar wanted to dominate everything, essentially. I'm very curious if the Ethereum will pop up again, given that Dimensius is probably going to play a role in content in the future. But considering we've beaten the Ethereum back 3 times now, I don't know, but I do expect to see Ethereals again in our future. And on that note, I want to make a little sidebar here about Ky'veza, the Nexus-Princess who's a boss in Narrowbar Palace, and we don't really know a whole lot about her. My original theory was that she was one of Locust Walker's students because she's a Void Ethereal. We know that on Argus, Locust Walker expressed disappointment that all of the Shadowguard Ethereals there had succumbed to the Call of the Void, that none of them were strong like him. And we also know that he's had multiple students. And the reason that I think this in particular is because Ky'veza was a Narrowbar Palace to assassinate Ansarek, but Ansarek has allied with Xalatath. So why would a Void Ethereal be there to assassinate someone who's allied with the Void, unless 2 possible reasons. Either Ky'veza is more like Locust Walker and is actually anti-Void but uses it, or Xalatath is not quite with the Void as we thought, or at least in some ways is against it, as actually many people have theorized. But what occurred to me in doing research for all of this is that Ky'veza is Ethereum, right? I mean, she's a Nexus princess. That means that in some way she has ties to the Ethereum. But second of all, that she is a Void Ethereal. We learned from 2 of these quest chains that the Ethereum have been trying to harness the powers of the Void to become Void, and they've succeeded and failed at that in varying ways. But Ky'veza is Ethereum, and she's a Void Ethereal, which got me wondering, has the Ethereum perhaps succeeded off-screen since Legion? Have they actually succeeded in harnessing the power of the Void? And if, when they return, might we see them with those new capabilities? It's also interesting knowing this lore, thinking about Ky'veza potentially being Locust Walker's plant on the Ethereum Council, if she is in fact his student or has some sort of relation to him. The fact that he could have a spy in what is the ruling class of their old homeworld Koresh is actually pretty cool and has some serious implications to it. And this is all just so speculative because we really don't know anything about her, but considering what we know about the Ethereum and what little we can glean from her boss encounter, I feel like it has a lot of implications, and I'm actually very excited to see what more we learn about her in the future. But I don't think that I personally expect to see anything more on the Ethereals or Koresh until at least the next expansion, Midnight, but that's for the future. So I hope that was illuminating, and thank you for joining me to learn a bit about the Ethereals, starting with the Ethereum. I'm considering doing a part 2 that will actually break down the different sub-factions, such as the Consortium, though we sort of covered the Protectorate in these quests and went into the Shadow Guard stuff in the Eridath quests, but there's a lot others to cover because there's a lot of other ethereal factions across the Burning Crusade, including ones in Blade's Edge Mountains and ones in the Manitombs, but we don't know a lot of information about those factions specifically, just really that they exist and serve their own ends. But thank you for joining me for this one, for my Ethereal lore video, and I hope to see you for the next one.
I cannot carry more.
I don't want to talk about it. Aluneth or Aluneth? Like, I forgot I have to know how to mage to get through this.
Heroes of the Alliance.
No.
The Dragon Isles have.
I feel so awkward. When egg.
Don't sound so good.
Nope, I'm not gonna say that. Okay. Keep quests, please.
It was magic that built this city, and magic that sustained it. Turn me loose, mage, and I will reach it by.
Sir, I think someone beat you to that already. I have to slurp their bodies? Okay.